Welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Y'all ready to do some cooking? So it is fairly decent temperature tonight. I think it is about somewhere a little over 50 degrees out here. So got my Dutch oven, and this is my number 12 Lodge cast iron pot with the legs on it. This is probably one of my favorite pots for outside cooking. So what I got is I got a rabbit that we're gonna cook tonight. So the first order of business is I'm gonna put some lard in this right here skillet, pot, Dutch oven, whatever you want to call it, and let it get to melting. And I'm gonna go hang it over the fire for a few minutes. That's probably a plenty. That pot, this bucket's just about done for. I need to hurry up and use it up because the bucket done gotten rough looking shape. Alright, with that on there, I'm gonna go hang this over the fire. Let that be getting warmed up, and I got my rabbit right here, and I stuck him in an ice bag. I bought this rabbit at Walmart. I'm joking, I did. I bought him at God's grocery store. Get that over there, Adam. So what I'm gonna do right now is first I'm gonna scratch his hair. How in the world did all that hair get on that thing? I cleaned him out there in the dark. I thought I had rinsed it off, but that didn't come off, did it? We'll get it off right now, right quick like. You can just grab that stuff and just basically a little membrane that it's stuck to after it's been chilled like this, it'll just about peel right off like a peeling. Y'all have handled a rabbit before. You know how it is. And you got to peel it off. You can't just wrench it off. That's why it's still on there. If wrenching it off would have got it, I'd have done that off the first go round. So what I'm fixing to do, the way I used to do this is one of my favorite ways to cook rabbit. Principally, the way I used to do it is I did it on the grill in them aluminum baking pans and put tinfoil over it. But then I graduated on to cast iron. So we're gonna cut this up. This and here, this is Foot. He had a brother named Foot and Foot. And y'all, I don't have no iPad no more. I can't be checking on comments. I may have to steal my wife's phone in a little bit, but I can guarantee you the battery's dead in it. Because it always is. And y'all, this knife right here is the one that Uncle Sasquatch gave me. I'm mighty proud of it, I am. Come on. Mike Culpepper, what do you know about cooking over the fire in that Dutch oven, huh? He might be a fan of some cast iron. Boy, that coffee's still a mite warm, just dang gum near burn the hair off your tongue. Come on. Let me see if that's warmed up yet. Oh. Get my hook'em tool I made right here. Oh, we're gonna have to let it warm on up. It ain't quite ready. Oh, we'll get her stoked up. We ain't in no flying rush, no how, are we? So I got some lemons. Whoa, whoa, look there. Did you see how I caught that? It was fixing to roll on the ground. I mean, it was in a peeling. It wouldn't have hurt nothing, but I didn't want it on the ground. And I don't like cutting up carrots on this cutting board because this thing is rounded. I'm going to drag this right here over here and turn it this way. Everything else I can cut up, but you go cut carrots up on that, and doggone, they'll roll off on the dirt every time. Ooh, them some gigantic carrots. Boy. I'm talking about some buggins. Bugs Bunny would have been happy to have found them, wouldn't he? Well, he's found them because there he lays in a heap. I'm going to give him his carrots back now. I got smart. I ain't going to cut them up them little... Them little round way, get something I can stick a fork in. I gotta slow down. I done cut myself one time this week fooling with a hatchet. Boy, it filleted that finger open pretty good. You come in a bleeding and everybody gets all excited. I told them I'd live. That's probably enough carrot right there. Probably don't even need all of them. We got it out here. We might as well cut it up and get it ready to put in there. Wouldn't y'all say? We'll have to get Mama out here in a minute to go through the comments, but Mama can't talk good. She's got a wad of cotton in her mouth. They snatched a tooth out and got a hole big as your finger in her head. Boy, it's still hot. I need to get my rabbit seasoned. Let me get my seasoning. My shaker, I hadn't brought the other ones out here just yet. This is the black pepper one. That's probably too much seasoning. It is. I know y'all seen me throw that back in that jar, but this is my jar and I'm the only one eating tonight. Really ever. But I got the stuff in there to make me a new batch of seasoning anyway, so we probably gonna use this up here. Alright. Now let's see. Put that back in the refrigerator. That's the only way I keep it from clumping up. Now that cooking oil melt, it's getting there. It's a getting there. It ain't quite right, but we fixing to go ahead and start throwing. Oh yeah, it's ready. We're gonna fry that a little bit. There, see. One of these days, I'm gonna build one that don't smoke everywhere. Where when I get over there, I ain't choking to death. Know what I mean, Vern? All right, now let's cut up these potatoes and onions. We're gonna have more fillet skillet. I may not use all the potatoes. We're gonna use all the onions. You see all that seasoning on there? You just leave that right there and you roll this stuff around in it and it'll gather it all up and you wind up with it all in. That's an old Indian trick. Get me a bucket over here to throw my onion peelings and all that mess in there. You know what? I could probably could go plant that, and I'm gonna plant it in the chicken pen. What I'll do. Boy, that onion, you'll be crying like you're listening to George Jones in a minute. I've been wanting to cook a rabbit for a while, and put that over there on that cutting board. See that onion, it'll gather most of that seasoning up that I lost. Yeah. I got another onion right here though. We're gonna put them both in there. Just cause I like onion. Sound like I hear water dropping on the roof, and I swore I saw stars out there a while ago. Might be strange happening. Y'all, we had that storm the other day. I was a video, and y'all heard all that thunder and all that stuff. Well, y'all know that means it's gonna frost the 11th of April. You write that on your calendar. 11th or 12th. 12th. Well, anyway, somewhere right there, it'll be a frost in April, about the 12th. You watch. Old timers used to tell us that stuff. And they was right too. They didn't miss much. We're gonna have more vegetables than we got rabbit, but that's all right. And I don't like my pieces of potato bigger than what'll fit on the fork. I about cut them up like French fries. I see folks cutting them up in big old chunks, and I'm like, that don't fit on a fork much, you know. But hey, if that's the way you like it, that's the way you ought to do it. No, I am a believer in that. I heard somebody say the best way to do things the way you like to do it. I know where I heard it. It was on Celebrating Appalachia. I heard them. They one said it. They really did. I was watching them the other day. Or we usually watch them on Michelle's channel, and I heard Tipper said that. All right, let's get us another potato cut up. I got some celery we're gonna put. And I may not need all these potatoes. I may wind up with more stuff than I can eat in there. But it'll be all right. Roscoe will be proud of me if I do. He likes some leftovers now. And he's pretty good about eating them on the first go-round. I think his biggest hobby is watching me eat. I about swear I hear rain. That's probably a plenty of potatoes. I don't need all that. Cut up some celery to go in it. Oh, I got a part of a bell pepper, and I don't know what else is in that right there. That was all the bell pepper we had left. Them scraps I put in them chickens. Oh, I probably need, ooh, that in there don't look so smoky, does it? That in there is getting questionable. I'm gonna put every bit of it in there. Ah, I need my little cutting board. Ooh. Bring y'all over here where y'all can look see. I know y'all like to look. Roll that around. So what I've done is I got that hot, somewhat seared it a little bit. I'm gonna push it right back over there. Let it get hot again. While that's doing its thing, I'm gonna stand over here and drink coffee. Yeah. So y'all bends I can't play with my iPad. I'm gonna have to look at comments on right on here. And I can't read them. See Mr. Charlie Pickerel on there. Jeff, y'all getting snow up there in Detroit. Man, I didn't get no snow. I seen old Mike Reed was tickled to death that he got some snow. He tried to act like he didn't like it, but I seen that look on his face when he was making that snowball and throwing it at the camera. I knew he was enjoying himself. And then he was out there slipping and sliding. He went up on top of the mountain where he could slide around. I knew he was having a ball. He was just trying to pretend like he wasn't having as much fun as he was. That's what I think. South Illinois, Jared. D.D. Johnson made Italian meatballs. I bet that was good. Thomas Shepard, how are you, sir? Thank you for the rifle. I really am tickled to death over it. We're going to get that thing out and shoot it. I seen somebody's Huckleberry. Yeah, Mike, he was thrilled to death about that snow. He was really enjoying himself. Come on, Mike. You know you was enjoying that. I seen him up there. He was skiing. Oh, Lord. The iPad, Michael, it needs an update. Well, it's updated. It's so old that it won't take no more updates. Well, the iPad is up to date as far as it will accept updates. Well, YouTube wants some more updates. YouTube said we ain't working if you don't get a better iOS on there. So anyway, it's time to buy one. And well, that requires funds that I just ain't willing to part with. I'd rather spend my money on fishing equipment than I had filming equipment. Well, I got enough stuff to film with. It's just an iPad. All I use it for is to sit out here and read comments while I'm doing this. And so I just hate to spend that kind of money on an iPad just to read comments on live on Friday night. But we may do it. I could use it for some other things, I know, but I really had rather have a laptop computer where I could sit back and edit my videos in my recliner with my feet pulled out instead of in there humped up at that little desk at that computer. But anyway, we'll figure something out here for long. The good Lord will take care of us. I know I'm missing coming. Y'all talking about how expensive phones are. I don't even know what them iPads cost now, but I can guarantee you they're a pretty penny. I think these phones I got was around $1,100 or $1,200, and of course you make payments on them. You can pay them off in 2 years, or I do with C Spires. I don't know, and I don't need the latest and greatest and newest one out there. So I just need one that's new enough that it will hold YouTube for. The deal is they update them apps all along. Well, they require more and more data to run and more technology. Well, it all has to be compatible. So that is the deal. I may have to do that, Larry, and buy me a cheap one. Let me see what this looks like right here now. I hear the sizzling in there. Get my hook'em tool. Yeah. Y'all hear that? Oh, that rabbit is a sizzling. Mike Culpepper, eat your heart out, son. All right, here's the way I want to do this. We just gonna rook everything off in there, y'all. Look at that. Woo-wee. And then watch this. Look at there. One more handful. Oh. And then we got the main most ingredient. I'm taking y'all back over here for a minute. Y'all get seasick? You feel all right? You ain't woozy, are you? We got us a pair of lemons. We're gonna slice these lemons up. And we're gonna lay them all on the top. All right. I got them right there. All right. Now y'all come on back over here again. Don't get woozy on me. I know I'm shaking y'all around. I don't want your chocolate milk to come back up. All right, let's lay them onions right here. I mean, them. And I'm squeezing this lemon juice off in there, off of them onions. Now one more time with the seasoning. Oh, y'all. Now we need one more thing I'm gonna have to go get. I'll be right back. Something about restricted mode. Alright, what I got right here is some water. And I try to pour it on the side as to not wash all the seasoning off the top of my stuff there. Plenty of lemon juice. And then we're gonna put the top back on that. And we're gonna shove it back in there over that bar. Right like that. There we go. Where's my coffee? There it is. All right, y'all. I am trying to get Mama's phone out here, but it didn't want to cooperate for me.
Well, I had put it on restricted mode.
Yeah, you can't watch a live on restricted mode. She had to put it on restricted mode because of Brody. You got it. She ain't gonna let me have it. Hey.
How are y'all?
Show them that hole in your head.
No, it hurt.
All right. Jeff said the water in the fruit jar looked like shine. And y'all, that meal right there, you can make it just about the same with deer, ducks, squirrels, rabbit, really about any kind of meat that's wild game. I like the lemon flavor. Now, if you don't like as much lemon, don't put as much lemon to it. You know, I mean, this is kind of common sense for most folks. But anyway, it's about an hour to an hour and a half, and that rabbit will be falling off a bone, and all them vegetables will be fine eating. And we'll eat us a plate full of it today, and then the rest of it tomorrow for dinner. So, I bet frog legs is good, but now no more than I go and collect frog legs, it's hard for me to not fry the frog legs. I like fried frog legs, so. Yes, y'all, Michelle is, she's gonna be all right, but I'm sure that mouth is sore. And I went yesterday after she come home and picked up her prescription at the Walgreens, and son, they was a line there all the way. I guess everybody's about sick right now. So I went and got that, and I had to go by and look for some needle files for a knife project I'm working on. That I don't do a lot of work making bolsters, but I had been sent all that knife making equipment, and I wanted to play with some of it. I had another big old saw blade. I wanted to do some testing, so today I tempered that blade. I don't know that it was necessary that I heat treat it, but I wanted to see how it holds up. So I'm doing some experimenting with a knife to see what this one piece of steel I got is, and I can make several more knives out of it. But I'm putting some deer leg bone and a piece of antler and a piece of wood, and we're just gonna see how it all works out. So I got the handle about half put together, and I'm letting it cure, and then I'll have to put the antler piece on the back. And when I do that, I'm going to I like to drill and put a copper pin in there just for security. The only deal when you start drilling through bone and antler, you got to have a sharp bit because it'll bust out the opposite side. Mike Reeves. I have not been yet, Mike. We did go today and looked at the water. I've got a place down there, I believe, where I fished last year. I can put the War Eagle. It is flooded. I'm talking about there's water all over the swamp now, Han. But we probably, me and my buddy down there is going to go and put some jugs in, or some limb lines in that creek down there for right now. He knows how to fish Tom Bigby. And we going up there, I made about 20 big cat limb lines for Tom Bigby. They're about 8 foot long, got 7 and 6/0 hooks on them. And I'm going up there to, I'm determined to catch an Appaloosa cat. I have yet to catch an Appaloosa cat, and it is partly because I probably just don't know where to put my hooks. I've always put my lines in generally the same place. So that is the first thing I got to do, is do something different. Now, what I did different beforehand was I adjusted the way that I put my lines in there. Got them picked up off the bottom, and I can wear the blue cat out down there in them deep holes. But he's gonna show me a little of what he knows, and I love doing some catfishing. I love the limb lines. I've never had a lot of great success with a hand pole, but I don't have the patience to just let it sit there. So I've got everything to rig up, and we're gonna do a lot of that this year. I'm gonna do some rigging up hand pole catfishing. Oh, Mike Reeves gonna come down here and go back with me in that swamp again. Well, I know where there's some holes down there that's got some big catfish in them. If you can keep a grinnell off your hooks. Chris Bassett said, what are you using for bait? Normally, mostly shad. I always take stump perch or sun perch, we call them here. Some people, some of them are goggle eye. We take a few brim. The brim don't stay alive long, but then once I get up there, I usually take shad. If I can get some of them little small mud cat, I take them. So I usually get around here and I take about 100 baits with me. And it takes 100 baits to bait my 4 big lines up right off the bat. So the first thing I'm going to do at some point this year is I got to get me a bait tank that I can carry up there with me to keep my bait alive at the campground or wherever I'm at while I'm there. But live bait is what I've been using. Now, right now when we start fishing down here in the swamp, I'll start out with deer liver. I got a pile of deer liver, and it works good. It works good at Tombigbee on jugs in the backwaters and stuff when you targeting small channel cat and blue cats and stuff. But now I'm well aware that you got to have live bait to catch Appaloosas or need it. And I have fished it. I just ain't got my lines in the right places yet. Does anybody have any idea how much crawfish are running right now? I have not. Usually it's after Easter before I can afford to buy any. There's a guy, in Missouri. I can't think of the videos are on Facebook. There's a big old guy in overalls, big black guy, and he's catching some, I'm talking about huge, on bank poles. I've watched him. I can't think of the name of the channel. But he ain't got a lot of videos, but now I'm talking about all huge cats. And every one of them on these bank poles. He's got them fiberglass poles. And I'm probably going to get some, but now I think up there in the places that we want to fish, there's plenty limbs to tie to. But we're gonna travel around this year some if I get the chance. And I need to get Brody tuned up to go in, but my biggest battle has always been having somebody that could go with me in the middle of the summer. And then with the pottery and all, so this year looks like with the knife business doing okay. And I've got 2 or 3 people that can lined up that can take off and go with me in the middle of the week. I think right now I've got about 4 or 5 different people I can call at any time during the week when I can go. I don't like to be on the water in the weekends for the most part. And the reason is there's way too many other people there. So and I have watched God's Country. I've watched them catch, and they do a good job on, but they do a lot of hoop net fishing. But they're commercial fishermen. I tried some soap. What kind of soap was it I tried last year on jug lines? And we never caught a fish on it. Zote. That Zote soap, but now I had the white. I didn't find the red, and I bought it at Walmart. So somebody said you needed the red, but now Michael Gatlin, I hope I don't get sick from going in the store either, but I had to go. But now I'll tell you, I steer clear of folks for the most part. The only thing, a lot of times I get cornered and have to talk for 30 minutes, but I try not to be all touching everything and handling everything. Dave, what I normally do, I try to buy live ones and we boil them ourselves. But usually they're around $2 or $3 a pound. But now I don't know. I need to call down to South Louisiana and go. Jeff, I used goldfish one time and I didn't have good luck with them. But now I haven't give them a fair chance either. I have heard folks say they done real good with them up there. It has a lot to do with where you put your hook, I think. Mike Reeves, as long as you fish above Tom Bevel Lock and Dam, you don't need an Alabama license. If you go below the Tom Bevel Lock and Dam there at Pickensville, you're technically in Alabama above it, but they'll allow you to use a Mississippi license. But if you go below that lock, you got to have an Alabama license. But above the lock, you're in Alabama, you can use a Mississippi license. So I get tongue-tied, but above the lock, Mississippi license. Below the lock, Alabama license. I think, and I can get Mufu's over here where I stop and get bait has got goldfish. Now, I don't know how much they are. I could probably get a pretty good deal on them. But now I haven't even asked him how much they are, but I may. And sometimes he's got stump perch. I'm gonna do some scouting. Not probably this week. It's gonna be like in the 20s this week. But I'm going to start looking for bait. I've got plenty of bait baskets, and I may make some more and see what I can do about getting. I've got a 55-gallon barrel. I hook up my aerator and leave it running, and I'll go to filling it up with water. And right now there's plenty of rainwater. I'll fill that barrel up, turn the aerators on, and I'll just start putting fish in there a little along. So I don't know how much a non-resident license is in Alabama now, but now they not god awful expensive. You could probably buy a year license for $30 or $40. And really for me it would be beneficial if I'm going to go over there and fish, but I always fish on the Tom Bigby above that lock, so I've never needed them. But now it depends on where I wind up going and what I wind up doing this year. My deal with getting my own bait is it's half the fun, but the problem that we have here is it got so dry last fall and the fall before. There was no crawfish. The little holes of water in these pastures dried up too bad. Now down here in this creek, when I start running in this swamp behind my house, limb lines that I love to run down here, I do the best with crawfish. I like to fish crawfish down there. And I catch a lot of channel cat. And that's what they feed on mostly. And that's why I do so good with them. But now there's some apps in there. Usually they small, but you have to get further down in a different section of the river than where I normally fish. And so I don't really worry about live bait because of that. But yeah, crawfish is my #1 bait for down here in this swamp. But last year I struggled to find any. I finally, late into the year, I found some and did pretty good with them. We put them on yo-yos and stuff. Mr. Billy Skipper had given me a bunch of yo-yos, and I had never fished yo-yos. But we did and done good with them. I have got to come up with me some more hay rake tongs, the tines off of a hay rake. Use them, and you can hammer them in the side of a tree, and they springy, and they're excellent for driving in the side of a tree in the river and hanging them yo-yos on. I have never used shrimp up here, but now I have heard of people going to the grocery store, buying shrimp, and putting them on fishing up here with them. So it's possible, it works, but it is not going to be a natural bait for this area. So for me to sit here and have an opinion, I'm not going to even attempt to, because I mean, obviously there's not chicken's not a natural bait, and people catch a lot of fish on chicken. So, you know, you can't sit here and say what will and won't work. Good night, Mike Reed. Thank you for joining in with us. Don't take it personal. We're picking at you about the snow. I know you've had enough of it, but have a good night. Macomb, Mississippi. You bought them, they was 65. Good Lord. For a year license in Alabama, $65. Mm-mm-mm. Michael Addy, we have got a rabbit with all the trimmings, taters, carrots. Bugs Bunny ain't happy if he ain't got no carrots in there with him. Onions, celery, and some lemon on it. We're going to eat good here in a little while. I may need to get up and put some more wood upon the fire. I'll have to try some shrimp and just see how they work. I have never really tried it. John Newton, thank you. We had a happy Valentine's Day. We don't really, me and Mama don't really do nothing special to celebrate. I mean, we not dating no more. Now my daughter, she is all excited about it, but we do. It's just another day. I mean. But now that's the way we are with a birthday. We have a birthday, and it might be, you know, we just going to work. Hey, what else you gonna do? I gotta zoom this camera in just a little bit. I don't like it way back there like that. Let me put this other little bit of wood I got right here on the fire. We don't want to let it go out while we're cooking. Come on. Whew, that smoke's tough. Getting your eyes here. Blink, brother, blink. Oh, what is it, Roscoe? Blink, brother. Does anybody know where that come from? Blink, brother. You got it made, haven't you, son? Me and him's getting sorrier and sorrier. He took his own collar off. I guess he got tired of wearing it. I don't know if the Lord convicted him over it or what, but he took his own collar off. Get my glasses back up on. We in Philadelphia, Mississippi, pretty much. Mike Culpepper said them license this year is $67.25. Good Lord. May have to get Elon to look at that now. Thomas Shepard said he took his wife out and told her they had to be home in time for the live. There you go. That's the way to put your foot down. John O'Roscoe seems to be getting over his accident. He groans a lot now. I notice that he'll be just laying every time he moves. He just like he's old. I told him, I said, son, you can't start that yet. Now I don't know if I can handle that for the next 6 years. But oh well. Got steaks on the grill, Waze. Holy. I'm about ready to cook me. We cooked some steak the other night. We cooked them in the house, so. But now we fried catfish. Fried crappie last night. I had them crappie that we caught last week. They've been in the refrigerator, but Thursday night was the only night that we had to cook them. It was storming bad. Tuesday night I could have cooked them. And we had other stuff planned every other night that was going on, and then church on Sunday, church on Wednesday. And I knew tonight wouldn't, so I don't know how I managed, but we always seem like got something going on somewhere. And so we cooked them crappie last night, and son, we eat them, and we cooked the whole ice cream bucket full. My brother came and his wife and his two grandboys and ate, and me and Mama and Daddy and Brody, and we eat pretty good. And then I brought some home and I ate them again for dinner today. Philip Greer said, spray your bait with Pam catfish like it. And I always have Pam because we use it in the pottery shop. That's what we spray them molds with, keep that clay from sticking to them glass bowls and stuff. But I have never heard of spraying catfish with it. I have heard of WD-40. John said he did that groaning and he ain't been run over. Mike Culpepper said he calls it Halloween because if you don't get her a gift, she turns into a witch. Well, we don't buy no gifts, so I guess that's why I call her Marie Laveau. But I didn't give her that name, somebody else did, so I ain't guilty. Marshall Cruz said he grown too, said it ain't the age, it's the miles. Well, I know I got a lot of miles, and I don't know how to slow down. I always say, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to take it in. I don't. It don't get no better. Zachary, y'all getting 6 inches of snow or rain tomorrow? We got 4 inches of rain the other day, actually a little over 4 inches. So Greg got his Spirit of the Outdoors hat today, wearing it now. Wife said he was styling. I need to get mine and wear it some more. I'm afraid to wear mine out places people won't even know who I am. It'd keep me from signing autographs. Uncle Sasquatch, if I get down in the floor, I groan a lot trying to get up. I go, oh. And I ain't even that old, but I'm getting there. David Rush and I am itching to get out there and shoot that rifle. I really am. I may try to do it tomorrow, but I got some knives I need to finish tomorrow. I really need to get up early and finish them in the morning. Really, all I got to do is make the sheaths. The knives are made. I finished them today. But I took a lot of time working on the other one, and then me and Brody rode down there to check beaver traps. And that going to check them beaver traps requires about an hour and a half conversation. So we didn't get back time to do no whole lot, but we didn't catch nothing. But now they won't probably, the water's so high down there that they probably swimming over the traps right now. So. But we're not really trying to catch beavers. We're trying to catch a dad blame otter. But now he may have done moved on. Mark Meltzer, if we get any more rain here, the catfish is going to eat my turnip greens out there up. I've been trying to keep an eye on them, but I'll go out there and put limb hooks around my garden to protect my turnip green patch if I have to. Richard T said they got 5+ in his part of North Alabama. Jerome Smith, I ain't never eat a otter. I don't know that I don't know that I would or not. I'd have to get hungry. Got so much rain the frogs is drowned. Hey, y'all, that's a lot of rain right there. A lot of rain if a frog's drowned. Last year, I don't think we ever did go frog gigging. I was gonna go, and then we never loaded up and went. Yeah, John, I got the affiliate link, and I have posted this link in several videos, but I tell you what, in the next video that I upload in the morning, I've got one filmed. I've got to edit it tonight. I'll probably turn it on tomorrow sometime. I made my other limb lines and just did some odd and end stuff. I'll link it in that video, but I know I've linked it in a couple of videos, especially right after Christmas when I got it, but it's hard to go back and look and find what video, what's in. I know how all that is. I'll try to link it to nothing. Kenneth Brody is in there glued to a TV. I'm sitting there, he's watching cartoons we messed up, put him a TV in his room. We don't see him much. But now Brody did get out and go with me down there to check in beaver traps today. And that was part of the only reason we went. I really didn't think nothing was in there, but we rode down there, wanted to go look at the water and this, that, and the other, how high it was. And I got him out to go with me. And it's been cold, so I hadn't pushed him to get out because if he fooled around and Brody can't be outside without getting in water. He's going to stick his hands in water or get to playing in it. I mean, don't matter what you tell him. And I don't want him to get sick, so I hadn't really forced him outside a whole lot. Richard T. said it rained so much up there he saw a catfish with a life jacket on. And it done got deep water up there then, hadn't it? Greg, you should have your cutting board in a few days. I appreciate all of y'all that is buying that stuff. And I'm sure that Joey appreciates it too. He'll tune in here in a little bit. Dave said he went last Saturday and caught 23 white perch. That's crappie for most of y'all. Here we call them white perch. That's all. My mama didn't even know what crappie was. She said, well, I wondered what the difference in crappie and white perch was. I was explaining it to her yesterday. Said he kept 12, let the rest go. Larry, did they get you a battery? That Power Cream battery, I like it, and you can scan it with your phone and look at your phone with a Bluetooth on, and it'll tell you how much battery is in it, what percentage it's at. That's one of the things I like with it. John, it ain't time for Tommy Litchfield yet. He won't tune in to about 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Somebody said poke the fire. I'm trying to be easy with the fire simply because I'm cooking over it, and there is a good bit of flame coming up right back there under that pot. So I don't want to burn my stuff. But now I put water in it to prevent that. So I'm trying not to get too much, get it too roaring hot. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get to talking about old Tommy and his ears that go to burning, and he'll be up here. Yeah, Dave is Sock lay down there. we've always called them white perch, but then it's still crappie. If you get very far north, they go to calling them crappie. But, you know, if I'd have heard somebody talking about crappie much, I wouldn't have wanted to fish for them. Charlie, we trying to get to making some of them fat bottom mugs. I noticed it. She's got several sitting out there painted and glazed, and I was assuming they were for orders she had done because I wanted mine that dark chocolate color, but I ain't even got one. That's why I'm drinking out of this. I gotta get me one made though. Michael Gatlin, most of the time I try to cut the live off around 9 o'clock. Depending on what we're talking about, what's going on, they have went to 10. So somewhere from 9 to 10. Randy Allen, you like that new Gideon knife? That patina is something other. That's what I put on mine. But I am probably fixing to completely regrind my Jonah. I have sharpened it and used it so long that I need to just completely regrind it. Calico bass. Now, I ain't never heard that. That's a new one on me. John, I don't know about that. On this lithium battery that Power Queen sent me for my boat, they sent a charger. Now, if you buy a battery, you got to buy the charger that plugs because it's got a special connection that plugs up to it. I don't think just any charger will charge it. So I can't answer you that about putting it on a... But if you'll get on their website, I guarantee you they got that information on there. I don't personally know. Marshall Cruz, I had never heard of putting black coffee on that rabbit instead of water. I could see where I would like it, and I don't know about other folks. I've heard them called specks, Dave. Brenda Joe, good night. Sand trout. I have not heard of sand trout. I know that it depends on where you're standing as to what something's called, and bowfin is one of the best examples of that because I don't know exactly where all it's called what, but like all in this area, they're known as grinnell. You go down to Chupet in Louisiana, and then you get those scaly cat over in parts of Alabama, and then cypress trout. I mean, they got a host of names. And white perch and crappie and sac-a-lait and all, that's about the same way with that. And what it amounts to is before the internet and technical information, people just, oh, that's what that is. Well, it was just by word of mouth. Well, that just spread, and everybody kind of commonly knew this fish is one thing. And that's like stump perch, sun perch. It's actually a green sunfish, I think is what it technically is. But we call them sun perch. Some people call them goggle eye. Well, goggle eye is actually a whole different species of fish. It's a warmouth, I think. But it's, you know, it don't mean that somebody's wrong. It's just that's what they was taught and the way it was handed down to them. I'm not one of them people that get all bent out of shape when somebody calls something different. As long as I know what they're talking about, it don't, but that's like when you'd call a snake poisonous, somebody will correct you every time and say it's venomous. Same way with putting a magazine in a gun. Hey, you call it a clip, and man, they look at you like you fell off a turnip wagon. Well, are they too stupid if they don't know what you're talking about if you don't use the right word? I mean, I thought a magazine was something you read, you know, looked at the doctor's office. Black coffee on country ham. They call a green sunfish a rice field slick or a rice slick. That is up in Arkansas. Old Roscoe, he's needing some attention, ain't he? Yeah. He ain't had no good loving, have you? Me and him piled up in that recliner last night, and I finished that dead blame book I've been reading. Thor sent that book to me. He said he had me another one he was sending, but I read finished that book. That was a pretty good book. A Land Remembered by Patrick Smith. Y'all call them Grinnell in Tennessee. Grinnell has got a pretty wide range, I think. Yeah, Roscoe's thinking about that rabbit. Richard, yeah, he's putting on some weight. He done forgot how to tree a squirrel. I've been wanting to go squirrel hunting, y'all, and they ain't no squirrels out. I mean, they squirrels here, but you can't find one. I mean, I ain't seen one hardly nowhere. I don't know what the deal is with them. I don't know what I was fixing to say. I had something on my mind. Y'all don't never do that, do you? Just go to say something, and I'm talking about it. Mine just went just like you took an eraser and just said. It wasn't that important, I can promise you. Probably won't change nobody's life. I'm gonna prod this fire though a little bit. I got some really, really green wood on there. That way it don't burn up so fast. I like cooking in that cast iron. I don't know why. That's one of my favorite pots right there to cook in. And I can't sit here and tell you I'm just real good at it, but I do enjoy it. One of these days, we're going to build us a real fireplace, and I'm going to have a brick hearth where we can set that thing out there and shovel coals up under it. I was going to get out here and learn to cook biscuits, but I haven't got my fire stuff regulated to where I can do it right to make bread in that thing right now. I'd burn it up. And not to mention, I get to talking, and I kindly forget about what I'm doing over there when I get to talking. Yeah, Jeff, when people go to correcting me about what I call something, I'm done with them right there. I feel like that they think it makes them appear smarter, but they appear to be somebody I don't even want to talk to when they start that. I'm like, I'm done with you. We through this conversation's over. And a lot of times I'll call something by an off name just to see if they that way. Ricky Phillips, they've been at an old folks Valentine's supper at the church. They canceled our old folks Valentine's Day party. I don't know what happened, but we got word that they decided, been announcing it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, they said, well, we don't have it. I said, well, that's just as well. I done fell out of love anyway. Walk around kicking rocks. Yeah, Dave, we're going to film some turkey hunting this year. I have got several folks wanting to go turkey hunting, and I ain't going to do nothing but carry a camera and film. Country ham drippings with coffee poured in is known as red-eye gravy. Sammy Casey, they don't keep them because they don't know what to do with them. They hadn't had proper raising is what the whole problem is. They was incorrectly brought up. Jeff, he sure is. Jeff said he wanted to testify that God is good to all of us. He just got out of the hospital today, y'all, and got home. And he done him a little stint in the hospital after he had a knee surgery, replacement done, and Michael Gatlin, the only problem I got with this is I need a good flat, I want me a brick hearth or rock, something flat where I can put coals and ashes in there and sweep it off. But this don't draft good, and it's because it ain't airtight. I've put funnels in there and a smoke shelf, and I've had people tell me to do all kind of stuff, and none of it worked. The whole deal is it ain't airtight, and it ain't gonna draft right till it is. So I'm gonna build a brick one, but I'm wanting to pour me a slab under here. I'm just gonna have to win the lottery to make that happen, and I ain't even bought a lottery ticket, so I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. Yeah, I think a charcoal Keith would be the best way to do it, most definitely, as far as regulating that temperature and keeping it even. What I was gonna do was set it out to the side and just shovel my coals under it, because over that fire like I'm cooking right now, I ain't got no way of knowing how hot that pan is or how fast it's cooking. But with the water in there and the lid on it, it ain't gonna do nothing but make that rabbit fall off a bone no matter what it happens. So it really, you can't screw this up, and that's why I'm doing it. I can sit here and talk and not worry about it. And if like frying something in a skillet over there, you got to be a little more diligent about what you're doing. A soup is another good easy thing. You swing that pot in there and let it go. I mean, if it don't just get to boiling hard, and even if it does, if you start stirring it, you all right. But it will stick if you ain't careful. Greg, you know, he asked what caliber was that Hawken. I really don't even know. I opened it and looked at it. I hadn't inspected it. There is some balls in there with it. I will check all that. I'm thinking it's 50, but I ain't 100%. It could be a 45. I will check and see. Hopefully next week one day I'm gonna get that thing out and start shooting it. Gordon made that cobbler. I've made cobbler in there. It is very good. Charlie Pickle, we gonna try to hold that preaching up until tomorrow, because I'm gonna tell you why. I gotta preach. I do my just in time. I film it sometime tomorrow, And then I have got to get my mind on what I am going to preach Sunday night. I've got to go to another church that I have never been to and preach Sunday night. I think it is a small church, which how many people's there makes not one bit of difference to me. It don't change the way I preach or nothing. You know, a lot of people, if they ain't a big crowd there, they just kind of, if there's two people, I'll preach, son. It don't bother, but Philip Greer, I had that little talk with my chickens down there, and I was getting about 5 or 6 eggs, and now I picked up a dozen today, so it helped. People said that it wouldn't make no difference, but it did. I ain't joking neither. I was getting about 6 eggs, and today I picked up a dozen, but now I've been feeding them that feed for about a week at 22% layer, and that helps a lot. And then I went and bought some 26% dog food for Roscoe and them, and I'm probably going to throw some of that in there to them. They won't eat as much. They like that ground up feed that I've been feeding them. They'll eat it better. They won't eat all that pellets, but they laying eggs. Salted to Society said, how's the weather down there? It is actually really comfortable. It's about 50 degrees, but it is going to take a downhill nosedive sometime tonight, tomorrow, or tomorrow night, sometime or another. And so the weather is going to get fire having kind of weather, which I don't mind it being cold. A lot of people get all wound up about the cold weather. I'd rather it be. I'll tell you what I can't stand. I can't stand in about June to August, and it ain't the heat. Most of the time it ain't but about 95 to 100. But with 100% humidity, you just can't bloom and breathe. And your clothes is stuck to you, you're gasping for air. And it's the humidity that kills us. And I ain't ready for it. I can't deal with it. I don't like it. And I'd trade Mike Reed's snow for this high humidity. I'd trade him with him in a New York minute. Yeah, John Thomas, you ain't wrong. We've all got spoiled with air conditioning. I can guarantee you we have. I told somebody, we was talking about survival situations. I said, if we have to do without power, I said it'll be the heat in these houses that kill us, because we ain't set up to deal with no air conditioning. I mean, we just ain't, not down here. You can't survive. It gets so hot in that house you can't think in there. Mine is set up where I can open the back doors and the front doors and try to suck a breeze through it. But I don't know that it helped no whole lot. Robert Getty, I have fed mine dog food for a long time. Now, I hadn't started giving them dog food this year, but if I needed to put meat on a chicken's bones, I would start giving them that dog food. I get that small size, or they can eat it, and man, if you throw it in there, like if you mix it with the chicken feed and pour it in there, they'll pick all the dog food out first, every time. So, they like it. John, you're probably right. The house is built so airtight you can't get no airflow in them. But now, I am probably going to put an exhaust fan in mine and put it on a switch, and I want to put it up top. I was going to do it last year, and I fooled around and never made it happen, and I plan to do it this year, and I think I could suck a lot of the heat out of my vaulted ceiling. That high roof that I have, it's a heat trap. An attic makes a huge difference in heating and cooling a house. So, Jeff, take it easy, brother. We'll keep praying for you. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I know you're in pain. Wild lettuce. Wild lettuce. There you go. Y'all was talking about preaching and stuff, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I have been reading through, I finished, I don't know where I started back sometime last summer. I just jumped over in one of the prophets. I think I decided I wanted to read Isaiah, and then I read Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and Daniel, and then I read Hosea, and I finished Joel. And so as far as what I'm going to preach this weekend, usually I've had a thought, a topic, and something on my, and I've been just as like empty as a gourd. I don't know why. Usually my mind dials into something spiritual, and I mean, once the anointing hits, I don't have no trouble following that. But just deciding, hey, I'm gonna. So at some point tomorrow, I got to get. But the reason is probably this week I've tried to have so much going on, trying to do so much, and I have accomplished a good bit this week. I've knocked out some odd and little things. It's been not big stuff, but just little stuff that needed taken care of and doing. I have done those this week, so I'm in a good place. And I told myself, from now till about the end of the May, if it ain't got nothing to do with making knives or fishing, I don't want no part of it. As far as activities and doing stuff, now we ain't talking about the preaching and all that. I am gonna go on a turkey hunting adventure or two. Yeah, John, I probably tomorrow will be a fasting day for me. If I know, especially if I'm preaching at a church somewhere, I usually try to put a day of fasting in. It just there's no substitute for sacrifice. And I know people fast a lot of different things, and I'm not going to criticize anybody fasting social media or fasting this or fasting that. And a lot of times I won't eat nothing all day till supper time, and then I'll eat one meal for supper, especially if I'm going to fast for a couple of days. Now, if you can go 3 or 4 days without eating nothing the entire time, that is by far the superior thing to do. But generally, if I'm having to work, I get a bad headache if I don't, and I'll fast all day, eat one meal at supper, and not try to gorge myself and do it again the next day. I do feel like that any sacrifice is better than no sacrifice. I feel like completely not eating anything and drinking just water is by far the most superior thing to do. But what I was going to say is people fast a lot of different stuff, social media, and fast different things. And that's all well and good. And I think God will reward all of those sacrifices. But there's something about the natural desire of the body to eat. And when you put that under subjection and say, no, you'll wait and eat when I tell you we're going to eat, there's a lot of dedication and, I don't know, mind over my fleshly desires, because if we're honest with ourselves, our bodies crave a lot of different stuff. I mean, that's like this coffee. I don't really desire the caffeine and I need to be amped up. That I like the warm liquid and the way it tastes, and it's about the habit of drinking it. But don't get me wrong, it's one of them things that, I mean, naturally I'm just kind of looking for it. So your body naturally craves stuff. And when you start saying, okay, I'm going to take control and say, no, you can't have that. Or when it comes to food, your body will start telling you, yeah, we're going to eat. And you steadily saying, no, we ain't going to eat. And it's steadily saying, yeah, we going to eat. We hungry. And, you know, when you're fighting that battle within yourself and you can win that battle, because a lot of times I have given into that, like, oh, man, I'm about to starve. I got to eat. I got a headache. I got to eat. And it just it 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 does a lot for you spiritually, because then if you can win that battle consistently over food, it's just a natural thing that your body just is used to having and wants and needs, and it's a basic necessity. And I mean, if we're all honest, I mean, eating is more of a hobby nowadays than it is just about keeping us alive. I mean, that is why we cook good food like this. But if you're struggling with things in life, battles that you know, there's temptations and things that you just can't, fasting is a way to start teaching your spirit and making it stronger. So with all that being said, I usually fast if I got to preach, because with my mind and my spirit can connect more, I feel like, with what I need to do. So that is one of my reasons for doing it. Tommy Litchfield has finally showed up. Julius McKinney, thank you. So, Tommy, what you been up to tonight? Good night, Gordon. Roscoe has done made him about 3 trips over that door. He'd really like for me to go on and let him in the house, wouldn't you? You ready to go in? Why don't you sit right here by the fire and stay warm? Look, we got fire right here. Look. I may need to go get me another stick of wood there to put on it. I probably do need to go get another stick of wood. Try not to overload it with wood. Might ought to check what we cooking, Regan. See how our rabbit is looking. Blow all them ashes off of there. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Still some juice in there. I'm adding this done if y'all want to know the truth, but I'm gonna let it cook just a little bit. Just cause I simply ain't quite ready to eat. They have decided that they was going after something. Probably Bigfoot down there. I bet he's easing around. Probably smelt that rabbit when I popped the lid off. I bet he come stuck his nose around a tree down there. I about guarantee it. Y'all, we got a full moon popped up over here behind me. I'd turn the camera around, but you couldn't tell nothing about it. It looked like a speck. John Thomas, thank you. I agree. I do think it's a fine rifle. Martin, 15 degrees come Monday. I think they give us out for 20 something, maybe 21, but now they change it every day, so there ain't no way of knowing. Somebody wrote me and said that rifle was a very sought after rifle. CVA Hawking. I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna have to pull it up and look it. I took it in the shed. I really ain't had time to make. I was trying to get some knives done. When I got a knife order, I feel like I need to get it done. I reckon, but I was working on one that I ain't on the order. I'm just experimenting, and then I'm bark tanning a deer hide. One of the last deer hides I had out there in that wood ash is letting the hair slip, and I got to do it. And then I just had several things going on, so I hadn't. And I was scared that I was gonna lose that deer hide. It was. I let it. I had it to bark tan. You got to leave that grain on there. Well, to get the hair off, you got to really let it get close to just rotting. Well, I let it get pretty close. And last week it got hot, so. David Rush, and it is a Hawking by CVA. Mike, that is a 12 Lodge. Now I don't know. I bought that one at Beams. But now I'm fixing to probably purchase me some brand new Lodge stuff. I have heard that Yates has some Lodge, and I'm probably fixing to get me one of them rectangle baking pans to cook on my grill with. I could set it up there. I bought an aluminum one, but they get bad hot and evaporate. I want one that'll main that cast iron. I just think it'd be the way to go, and I'm gonna see about what they got up there. My wife's got alarms for everything you can think of on her phone. Marty Lee Hopkins, how are you? Yeah, Uncle Sasquatch, I didn't get to see it yet. I had talked to him and knew he was going to do some. And I've got one that I'm going to do that way. It's laying out there. I've salted it. I hadn't had time to fool with it, but I am going to attempt to do that, I think. Marty Lee, I am top notch tonight. We got it made in the shade. I don't know what them dogs is after down there. They 2 or 3 times today they have lit out like they was fixing to eat something up. Well, the first time this morning, right early, I got my 22 and walked down there. I thought, well, man, they got a squirrel treat or something. I'm fixing to put me another squirrel in the refrigerator. And I got down there and they wouldn't nothing. So I don't know what they after. What do I use to season my cast iron? Honestly, most of the time I use some old cooking oil that I have done cooked with just because I hate to waste something else. But the reason is I get it hot and rub it with a rag. Now that I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that is the best way or the best thing to use. Lard, I have used lard. They say that to be careful using lard because of the salts in it. That the salt it'll rust faster with that than it will with other stuff. A lot of people swear to use like oil like olive oil and stuff that'll has a higher smoke temperature. I imagine Mike Culpepper can tell you more about what you need to season it with. Uncle Sasquatch, I looked in this one from what I could see with the naked eye. This rifle looked like it had been took care of. The other 3 that I got, they was rusted when I got them, and it was because people had put them up. It was just a tool to them. A lot of them bought them back when you had to have them to deer hunt with a primitive weapon season. And then they went to where we could shoot the 45, 70s and all that, and they just propped them in a corner and didn't look at them no more. And they had no idea that they were in as bad a shape as it was. It wasn't like somebody deliberately gave me a piece of junk. Because everybody that give me a rifle I traded with, they really thought they were giving me something nice, and it was. But that bore down in there just gets so bad. So I'm probably gonna wind up that one I got down there. I'm probably still gonna buy a barrel at some point and put on it and make it work. Marty Lee, get on southernmudpottery.net and see if they're there. If not, you can probably link up on the Facebook page, Southern Mud Pottery /Paint Studio. And I don't know when we coming back up towards Iuka. Michelle and them went up somewhere this week. She went to Iuka last week, matter of fact. Yeah. Her and her mama went last week. Boy, that smoke. Boy. That Marty, that knife that's got that red liner is sold, but now here's the deal. Those red liners can be put in with any handles, and all it is $10 more for me to put them liners in there because it just requires that piece of material plus a little extra time of gluing that together. It ain't a big deal. I also now have yellow. I can put a yellow stripe in them handles now. I'm going to do one, and I think the yellow will look good on some of the darker woods, but now we'll have to see. I had never used a grapeseed oil, Mike. I may have to try that on some of them. Richard T, me and you about alike. I can't afford some of that stuff just to season stuff. That's why I wind up using old fish grease that I done cooked in. I'll season it up with it. That wash pot, I was surprised that the wash pot turned out good as it did. But now I've used lard on my Blackstone, everything. But now I'll tell you that Blackstone, if it sits here like it has most of the winter, I ain't cooked on it a lot because we ain't cooked out here no whole lot. When I did, I've cooked over there on that other cooker. Roxanne quit. She's trying to get that bag that rabbit was in. But anyway, I ain't used it, and when it rains a lot and it stays, everything just gets wet. Well, it'll start rusting. It don't take nothing for that Blackstone to start back rusting. And I have threatened taking a grinding wheel and a wire brush and taking that joker all the way down to the metal and just starting to slam over. I took it down here a year or so ago when I first moved everything around here. I took it down a lot. But I didn't take it all the way. But I am probably fixing to put me a wall up over yonder on the other side. And I had considered putting me a sink over there, but I may move my Blackstone over against that. I don't know. I'm wanting to rearrange out here. But that grill with that smoke pipe is the one thing it's my nemesis. I ain't got nowhere to put it that the smoke can get out, that I can build a wall that it ain't in. It presents a problem every which way I put it. Marty Lee will be praying. I hope so. There's a lot of folks been struggling and fighting with that stuff. Uncle Sasquatch, I agree. Just frying bacon in a skillet does a lot for seasoning it. Marty Lee, yeah, come just give me a shout, and you still got my number. Text me, and come see us. Marshall Cruz, I want to build me either a 54 smooth bore or a 62 smooth bore, for the simple fact of being able to squirrel hunt with it with shot in it. And then Uncle Sasquatch was talking in his video about turkey hunting with them. That is another whole option. I got frustrated. I didn't do any black powder hunting this year because I just got frustrated when them guns wouldn't do like I wanted them to do. And I really had decided that I just wanted to buy a new barrel, and I didn't have the money right now to put it in it. And then I was focused on trying to learn the new deer camp. And then we had a meeting, and man, things went haywire at our deer club. They started changing some rules up. Man, there some folks got sideways, and there's some people hunting everywhere, and some killing deer that I don't know really what happened, but some of them got sideways. I thought I was fixing to lose my deer club. They decided we wasn't gonna feed nothing, and I don't know. I just didn't want to have to hunt club stands, and I think that's what they were trying to push. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going at some point this summer. I'm going to probably see about getting with Mr. Jack Garner and building me a smooth bore. If this rifle that Thomas just sent me, if it is an accurate, good rifle, I'm probably going to build a smooth bore. If I have trouble with this one, I'm going to build a 50 caliber Hawken. But I got 3 or 4 Hawkins, and instead of building a Hawkins, I may just buy a barrel for one of these that I already have. But now I've really got a lot of faith in the one I just got. I looked at it, the barrel looked good, what I could see of it, and somebody had told me about taking one of the ones I got and putting compound on a bullet and ramming in and out of that barrel and smoothing it up and with lead. And I ain't really tried that, but I may do it. But last year, I wound up, time I started building onto the knife shop and changed, I had way too many irons in the fire to really fool with it. And I'm hoping at some point through this year, I can get back to it because I've still got the TP that we've got to start doing some stuff with. I still hadn't sealed up the TP. It's been too cold, and then when it ain't been too cold, it has been too wet for me and Brody to go camp. But I'm wanting to camp out in the TP down there. But we've got to, I've got the stuff to put the liners in it, and I've got the stuff to waterproof it. So hopefully, at some point when we get us some dry weather, I can get all that done. And I got to take it back down and seal all the poles. And I'm probably going to move it, put it somewhere else. She's got 18 more treatments. But look, next time that I'll try to remember. I had really forgot about it, but the next time, which I didn't come the last time that Michelle came to Iuka, I'll try to get up with you and come up there. Well, Keith, we did good on the club. The deal with hunting on a club is you've just got to feed hard. And the reason is I don't like hunting over feed. But when everybody else is feeding, you've got to feed. So what I like to do is I like to build me a shooting house, put me a feeder out there, and turn it wide open and just feed hard and heavy. And then as far as me bow hunting and ladder, I like open stands. Get off out there and hunt the trails coming into there. But you have to establish that early in the year and get it set up and get it running right to know where to put these stands. By the time this year I knew where I was hunting, it was already hunting season, and I had no choice but to sit there and watch the feeders because I didn't know where everybody else is hunting. I'm learning the land. I don't know where the deer's moving. Next year we'll have a whole lot different season than I had this year. And I'm probably gonna start the season out bow hunting hard, and I'm have the full intentions of doing a lot more bow hunting next year than I did this year. I know some places that I can set up and do it a lot more effectively than I did this past year. So the next thing is I'm gonna try to put some effort into setting up to where I can film better, and that is the tricky part. It's one thing to go to the woods and hunt, but to film yourself doing all of it is a whole different ball game. And that is one of the things I have got to master and get figured out. I have never fished. I've never actually even seen Pickwick Lake, but I would love to come up there and look at it. And I'll tell you another one, that Bay Springs Lake is a pretty place. I want to get on it at some point, and it ain't far up there from it. Well, y'all, I'm fixing to go get me a plate. And I'm fixing to pull this out and see what's. I've got to go in there and get me a plate. Alright, let me turn y'all right this way. I promise I hear rain. Ooh. Yeah, y'all, it is raining. Let me raise this up where you can see down in there a little mo gooder. Ooh, y'all, that's hot, hot. I gotta rearrange. Get my stuff. Yeah, we getting sprinkles of rain out there. Y'all forgot about that old spoon I made, didn't you? I ain't forgot about it. I'm finna use it. It is raining. And the moon was out. I got to look at this now. I guess the moon ain't out no more. Let me look again. No, sir, y'all. It's a raining in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yes, sir. Oh, look at that back part. That's gonna be good. Woo, I can tell you one thing, doggone, it's hot. Scalded them fingers, it did. Get me plenty of them onions. Look at that bone sticking out of there. Oh, y'all. That's probably a plenty for one old boy. I don't know why I keep trying to grab stuff with my hand. I tell you what, let me put the lid back on there and... Oh, look at him. Look at him. Y'all. And look. Look at it just... It ain't just falling apart. That bone right there, it is coming off of it, though. I guarantee you it's tender. Alright. It's probably gonna have to cool before I can eat it, you know. But we're gonna go ahead and say the blessing. Thank you, Lord, for the woods and the creek. Thank you, Lord, for the food we eat. Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim. Thank you, Lord, for all of them. Thank you, Lord, for the plants that grow. Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe. Thank you, Lord, for the birds that sing. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Amen. All rightly, y'all. It is getting late, but it is just now time to eat. Time to eat. Let me turn that up right there where I can look. Delta Prepper, yes, them old plows make excellent knives. What we call a G-Whiz. That spring part that goes down, it makes excellent. I have made several. That's what my Bowie knife is made out of. Oh. Oh, y'all. That lemon flavor to that just does it for me. If you don't like lemon, you ain't gonna want this. And something about rabbit needs that lemon. Oh, y'all. Now, just so y'all know, when I went to get my plate, Roscoe bolted into the house. And now here he's waited all this time for us to eat. Now he went in the house and laid down. He gonna miss. I hate it for him. I don't see him. I figured he was standing at that door looking out, but he must have went and got to bed with his mama. Let's see what this front shoulder tastes like. I was talking about on one of them reels on Facebook the other day about the front shoulder of that deer I put in the smokehouse. Some smart aleck ass said, well, is there a rear front shoulder? Or is there a rear shoulder? I thought to myself, I said, you can't be that ignorant. But the very reason I said front shoulder is the first video I said something about these shoulders, and somebody seriously went to asking about it. You can't win for losing. And I had that little talk with my chickens down there. You'd be surprised how many folks thought that was serious. I ain't tell them no different. But we seriously are getting a good many eggs. Man, that's good eating, y'all. Oh, Bugs Bunny, fine now. I keep finding little bones up in ribs. Oh, it's fixing to come down now, ain't it? Let it rain, son. Let it rain. We ain't got enough yet. I better go get my life jackets out of the boat. Them bullfrogs will be up here stealing them. Y'all realize y'all sitting there just watching me eat? What, lemons are bite strong there. Look up catfish gutters. I want them poles. My blooming fire gonna go out if I ain't careful sitting here eating. Tommy, if it keeps raining, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna tie limb hooks off the back porch. We'll put job poles right out here. What? Smoke going the wrong way now. Oh, good Lord. Go the other way. Blink, brother. No. Roxanne, go get a stick of wood and put on there. I ain't gonna let go of my plate. So if I set it down, I feel like you'll be up in it with all 4 feet. I know how you think. You're looking at it mighty hard. She's staring my plate down good. She ain't looking at me. She's looking at every move my hands make. I don't see Roscoe. He messed up big time. I cooked that just right. If I'd have got it off a minute earlier, I believe it'd have been too soon. You talking about make a rabbit fit to eat now. I ain't gonna eat the whole thing tonight. But if I fast tomorrow, I might ought to eat all of it tonight. Go ahead and remove that temptation from my life. See, you gotta think ahead like that. And I'm gonna tell you what else, y'all. My wife went to town to do something today. She did come back with one of them 7-Up cakes from the store. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I like him because that 7-Up cake is a good cake. It ain't overloaded with ice and it's got just enough on it. I don't really like a cake that's just good. I can eat it now. I won't turn it down, but I don't like a cake that's just gobbed up with ice and real thick. Well, Roxanne here. Boy, them carrots is good. I always heard them carrots, if you eat plenty of carrots, it'd make you be able to see better. And my eyesight's getting terrible. And the reason I know my eyesight's bad is I'll check my checking account out and it's always no money. I can't see no money in it, so I know it's my eyes. But I done figured out one of my problems with making money is I do too much free work. I mean, my knives is paying, but I'm always doing something I don't pay nothing. And I can't not do it. But I guess that's better than paying somebody else to do it, you know. So, all right, I'm quitting. I really am, y'all. I need to find something to wipe my hands on. All right. Well, y'all, my belly is full. I ain't gonna lie about it. We have still got after 9 o'clock. We have still got 216 people in here. Y'all, thank all of you for still hanging around and watching. Yeah, and Tommy, Roscoe won't even tree a squirrel no more. He'll barely tree a biscuit. But he's got where he likes that bed pretty good. Every time you come through the house, he's laid up in that bed. So I think we done rubbed off on each other. Walter said it was 10 p.m. in Kentucky. Well, thank you, Waze. He said it was fun to hang out and talk with. Watch and hang out with. I can't read. I might ought to put my spectacles on. Do y'all have to wear spectacles? I need to wear my spectacles. Organic castor oil in your eyes. Shell, I ain't heard of that before. Don't need readers anymore. Are you serious? Where's this info? Where do I read about this at now? Marshall Cruz said get Michelle store-bought biscuits. Han. No, sir. Rural Prepper said I bought some pig feet today. Never had them before. Gonna try and cook tomorrow. If it don't turn out, they'll make good dog treats. I ain't never had pig feet either. I have never had pig feet. Michelle, I'm gonna have to try that. Greg said everybody was watching to see if that rabbit got done so they could all watch me eat. Well, we sure just flat done that. Well, I'm 42 Ways, and I blame mine on spending so much time staring at this phone. I literally run my whole life. I sell all of my knives through it. I'm filming YouTube. I'm editing. I'm checking comment. I mean, I entirely stay on it too much for a guy that likes to be in the woods. If I could figure out how to just make a living hunting and fishing without doing all of this, I'd do it. But I enjoy the filming, and it takes using the phone to communicate. And honest to God, y'all, I love meeting and talking to people. I can't go nowhere no more. I don't wind up standing somewhere in a store on the side of the street or somewhere talking for 30 minutes everywhere I go. And the problem that I have is I enjoy it. They ain't nobody that I talk to that I walk away and go, man, why they keep bothering me? You know, I do get frustrated because I run out of time to do everything sometimes. And I get in a hurry, and sometimes when I'm replying to messages, I have to be short with people. Not because of the individual, but because I liable to have 20 messages that I'm trying to get replied through while I'm sitting, while I got time to stop and check them all. So if I'm short with you on a message or reply, it's not personal. Please don't take it personal. I have to do that to be able to get to everybody. And, but I enjoy stopping and talking to people, meeting people. I mean, I genuinely enjoy it. I love to talk. That is why I spend so much time just talking to a camera. I mean, I don't have no problem talking. Sometimes I lose my train of thought, and I'll be talking about something, and it'll drift off into something else, and I don't even know it, and I just keep on getting it, But I do, and I've been very blessed to figure out a way to do what I enjoy. But I think so much time on the screen is what's done my eyes in. Sandy said butter beans. Kenneth said he's still thinking about cat head biscuits and red-eyed gravy. I cook my pig's feet in my butter beans until they just fall apart tender. Thickens the beans and tastes wonderful. Butterfly Farms, thank you for joining in tonight and watching with us. Hanging out with us. Fireside chat. I tell y'all what, let me put some wood on fire. I'm about to let it go slam out. Look at him. Burn, baby, burn. So, y'all, I know y'all have heard a couple of times where I said, Blink, brother. There's videos out there, the Hayden, Alabama podcast. The guy on there, he's got some glasses. I know y'all have had to seen these reels, or you should have. Him talking, telling tales. And it's pretty funny. He is from this area, from where I'm at, as far as I don't know him. I'm hoping that I run into him somewhere. I'm going to wind up getting me one of them shirts that says, Blink, brother. Has any of y'all seen this? They just tell some funny stuff. I have enjoyed watching it, but Philip, yeah, most definitely age has got a lot to do with it. Greg said start doing guided hunts. I imagine the first time or two I took somebody we didn't catch nothing, they'd probably get sideways with me, Regan. Julius McKinney, thank you so much. It'll always be clean content. May not always be interesting. Sometimes I may get boring, but it'll always be clean. I can promise you. Martin said his get up and go, got up and went. Toby Tate, they are hilarious. Some of them, I have heard some pretty good tales. Now, there's been some episodes that I didn't like as well as some of the others, and I ain't near about seen all of them. But now, if Robin is on there, I'm going to watch it. He's been on a couple, and he's hilarious. And then Trent Ellis is on there. He was pretty funny. And I think David was on there, but I ain't seen him. Yeah, John Thomas, all those guys are preachers as far as I know. I think every one of them on that podcast, on that episode, was all preachers, except for maybe one of them wouldn't. Greg said if they do that, just leave them in the swamp. Tommy said they got knuckles, so they got to be some hands somewhere. Larry Alexander, it is called the Hayden, Alabama podcast. And it's on YouTube. It's pretty funny. And it's clean. That's what I like about it. It's hard to find content that next thing you know somebody ain't cussing you out for something you didn't do. I can't stand to turn on a channel the next thing I know they blankety blankety blank and I'm like, whoa, hand, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I promise. And I ain't never seen so much. You can scroll through Facebook for about 15 minutes and find more ignorance. I mean, people really believe some stupid stuff now. And it's like, that ain't just a handful of them. It's a whole bunch of them. And they way off out there, you know. And I mean, these people that they get fired up about just goofy stuff, you know. It's like them renaming the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't care less if they renamed it or what. I mean, it just don't interest me. And these people, I mean, they all worked up about it. I mean, until they start trying to change my name, I don't have a problem. But anyway, a lot of them people that's fussed about it's done changed their own name several times, and they didn't have a problem with that. I didn't say that out loud, did I? I think I did. I don't know. Yeah, Waze, it's hard to find clean channels. Oh, and I talking about Jerry Clower, and there was a couple of them that was clean comedians, and that's why they are legends, is because they could be funny, and they was clean. You didn't have to worry about you young'uns could watch it with you, everything. Now, if it ain't vulgar, people just they ain't interested in it. And I mean, I don't understand why we've got to be so vulgar to be funny. I mean, there's clean stuff. It's funny. And it's really funnier than the vulgar stuff. When it gets vulgar, I'm like, that's enough of that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just different. Backwoods Home said it got turned around once, but wasn't lost for sure. I ain't never been lost. I've been a fearsome confused for a month or two. But the next thing I get to watch, and they some of the channels that I had to quit watching some of the channels that I enjoyed, but they got to going on about the chemtrails and the flat Earth, and I mean it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I mean, if the Earth's flat, so what? It's really not gonna change my life, not one bit. I don't think. And I sure ain't fixing to argue with somebody about something that I don't know for 100% fact. All I can tell you is what I've heard from here, there, and yonder, and kind of what makes common sense to me. But it ain't worth arguing about. But man, they'll be on Facebook just, I mean, blood red, blood pressure out of sight, just reared back, poking at them keys like it's right here. You know they are. Well, Thomas Shepard, you might not have heard Roscoe cuss, but after that trailer run over him out there, I ain't sure what he was saying when he come up that driveway, but he wasn't happy about it. But it was his own fault. I told him about chasing vehicles out of him, what he was going to do if he'd have caught it. And he finally caught one, and it wasn't happy. But if he was cussing, I didn't hear it. Yeah, Philip, that's me. Ain't no sense in arguing about something that I can't change. You've got an excellent point right there. As far as politics go, I don't do politics. I vote, and that's about as far as it goes. You vote, and that's it. You're done with it. I can sit there and argue about what I like on Facebook till I'm blue in the face, and it ain't gonna do not one bit of good. Ain't gonna do nothing but make somebody mad and make somebody not like me, and that's all. I can't fix it. Let me plug my phone up right here. It done, look, we done about run the battery, slam down. And that thing will come up on there and tell me it's dying. It does that when I'm filming pretty regular. Tommy, I hadn't asked Roscoe how many axles that trailer had because it's kind of a sore subject, literally. I didn't bring it back up. It's in the past. English Joe, you ain't never lied. Them flat Earth people is serious about it. And if they want to believe Earth's flat, well, have at it. I don't care if you want to say it's flat. Then hey, it's flat. Have at it. It's just hard for me to believe it, but I don't care. That's like the chemtrails. Weather modification is a real thing. They've been doing that for a long time. But the simple fact of the matter is, every time you see lines in the sky, that ain't chemical. I mean, some things is just common sense. It don't mean that there's not doing weather modification, but the biggest thing is they don't understand how it works. It has to kind of already be come in a cloud and they go enhance it. They don't really just like go out here on a sunny day and just make it rain. If they did, we wouldn't have been in a drought for the last 2 falls, you know, all it just simple things. And they'll argue. John Culpepper, he has been gone for quite a while, but he ain't never completely left us because I got several cassettes. It's about like this old woman over here. They told her, said, yeah, John Wayne's dead. She said, no, he ain't. They said, yeah. Said, John Wayne's dead. She said, no, he ain't. She said, I just saw him on TV last night. Yeah, and she is serious as a heart attack, too. She is an older lady. This has been many years ago, too. Well, Waze, the thing about the flat earth deal is I can take this pair of binoculars I got sitting in the house and I can look at the moon and I'm dead sure it's round. The sun's round. Most of the stars look round. What planets I can see is round. Now, what makes anybody think that this that we own's different? I mean, you know, just common logic. But hey, if you want it to be flat, it's flat. You know, I can't see where it's gonna change nothing. Mike, the Bronco, I'll tell you about the Bronco. Y'all, I went to town in the Bronco the other day and shipped some knives and went to a thrift store, and that's where I found that pot and the cornbread pan. And I piddled around, found a book, and I come to the house. Well, I was on the old back road over there, and the old Bronco don't really drive real good. The whole front end needs rebuilding. I mean, it needs ball joints and bushings, and it needs wiggling pins, putting the wobbling hole, and all that kind of stuff. So I ease along about 45 or 50, and I'm just tooting along in old Ford, you know, just arm out the window, just taking it easy. But on the way home, it was a spitting and a sputtering just a little bit. So I said, well, I'm going to put my foot in it. So my boy got the blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, this thing ain't running right. I kept my foot in it. And when I let my foot out of it to turn up there, and I done got it wound up to nearly 65 mile an hour. That's about all she'd do. That's why I knew something wasn't right. And of course, I was scared to get it much over that anyway on that old thing. You kind of chasing it. When you get over to the white line, you just kind of bump it this way a little bit, and when it gets over there to the yellow line, you got to bump it back, and you look like you're drunk, the whole way down the road, regardless. Good Lord. So anyway, when I slowed down, took my foot out of it where I could turn up there, man, that thing died on me. I coasted around off that road onto the other little old back road there. I sat there and wound on it till I might near run the battery dead. And it almost cranked up one time. And then it died again. I was trying to get it pulled down in gear and let my foot out of it, and it died. Well, I sat there a little bit and I know what it was when I got it cranked up. I had to get out to go shut the hood. I'd been wiggling wires under there. That's what you do. If something don't run, you open the hood and you walk around wiggling wires, and that didn't help nothing, but I did it anyway. And I had to get out and shut the hood, but when I got out and shut the hood, it died and it wouldn't crank back up. Well, I sat there and wound on it for about another 5 or 10 minutes, and I left the hood shut this time. I said, if it happened to crank up again, we're going to pull her down in gear, and we're going to hold our foot in it till we get home. And I done said, Lord, help me make it to the house, because Michelle ain't wanting to come bother me. Daddy's working. I don't need to bother him. And I just didn't want to have to fool with all that. So about that time I was winding on, it cranked up, got the it got to running, and I pulled it down in. I'm talking about driving. I just stuck my foot in it, and we was hanging curves. And when I'd get ready to turn, I'd put one foot on the brake, and I'd keep the other foot in the gas a little bit where it wouldn't go dead. We'd get turned. And, well, I got to the highway over yonder, and I had to stop there because there's a hill there. You don't want to pull out in front of one of them chicken trucks, eh? Man, you don't pull out in front of them. So I stopped to make sure there wasn't nothing coming, and I had to finally get it cranked back up. Well, I didn't pull all the way up to the road. I left me a little bit of a running start. I got it on, and we made it to the house. Well, I got home and was walking around complaining to everybody about it wouldn't run. And I walked out there. Somebody had pulled up, and I was here talking to them. I went out there and hit it, and man, that thing fired right up, sat there and run like a top. Well, Daddy come up here the other day, and I was telling him about what I done. I said, what do you think's wrong? Well, I went out there, and man, it wouldn't crank for nothing. So what I have come to the conclusion that it either needs a fuel filter or either the fuel pump is going out, I think. Now, I used to be a mechanic, but it's been a long time since I've done a lot of mechanic work. But I, yeah, and I've always been a Chevrolet guy. I have always drove Chevrolets, always owned Chevrolets, and I really ain't one of them kind of people that's like, oh, that's the best thing ever. I'm of the persuasion that anything with a motor and mechanics is going to tear up eventually, especially if I keep it long enough. I'll tear it up. But I just liked the old Bronco. When my cousin brought it up here, he parked it somewhere about where the house is sitting, actually. And he had wrecked it, and they had tinkered on it, tried, and it was sitting on about 3 or 4 flats, and it wouldn't. And I said, man, I'm having to weed eat around it and mow around it. And he said, well, I'll sell it to you. I said, what you want for it? So I paid him cash money for it and bought it sitting there tore up in my yard, and I got it running, and we got it running and drove it for a good long while, but that was in my wilder, rougher days. And there was several times that we took that thing right down through the middle of the swamp back here. And I had a set of 35s on. I finally pulled them off and put these other tires and wheels on there. And it just needs some attention and some love. And it's a nice old truck, really. It just needs probably a good tune-up. So I think I'm going to probably wind up putting a fuel filter on it. And if that don't solve it, we're going to then put a fuel pump because I'm pretty sure it ain't getting fuel. And I think it has got new spark plugs in it. They ain't new. They probably about 7, 8 years old, but they probably ain't got 500 miles on them. Time for a break, my phone said. I'm not ready for a break. I got something poking me right here in the, I don't know what I got it out then. Ways. Now I was a liking you started in about a Kyle Busch fan. Now Lord hell. Let me tell you what. Right now the champion is Joey Logano, number 22. That'd really fire him up. Oh, Lord. Them glasses, I bought these at Frank Tanks, and I like them because they got the bigger lenses, so when I'm grinding and working, it ain't it kind of protects my eyes. And, but them, I don't know why. I put them up here on top of my head, and they won't stay up there. I look down, and they slide off every time. Oh. Bruce Miles, that seafoam is good stuff. We have used seafoam. That's what we put in all them diesel engines back when we was working on them. And there's a whole can in my boat right now. That's what got it cleaned up and running good. Raymond said his phone was at 15%. Mine been fussing at me too. But I am fixing to we fixing to have to go because I need to go eat. I need to go check on that 7-Up cake in there. It's preying on my mind pretty good. I think I'm out of coffee. Just about out of coffee. And I went to Talladega one time back years ago, and I don't know how I even got to like Joey Logano. I really don't, cause he drives a Ford, and I like Chevrolets, but I just liked him. He's a good driver. There was several others I liked. I don't know. I never was a big fan of Kyle Busch, but I don't know. I quit watching racing, and I just ain't. I don't know. I hadn't watched a race, and I couldn't tell you when. Larry, good night. Yep, y'all, we fixing to all go to bed. David Golden, thank you. I am glad I'm your favorite channel. We are. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to get a good bit of fishing in. I've been working on my lines. I've been working on my prep to get everything geared up. Probably the next thing y'all gonna see me do while this backwater is up hard and heavy, we may go tomorrow and start. The first trip, we probably got to take a chainsaw and do a lot of cutting limbs out there because the water's so high, and as it falls, you got to carve different ways out. So, and that swamp, there ain't no big fish in it, but it's still a lot of fun. And then as the water gets more right, I know we're going to Tom Bigby before too awful long. So I'm ready to fish. I mean, I had rather fish than I had hunt, honest to God. But we're going to have some bad cold weather this week, so probably going to have one day that I have to go collect some more firewood. I've got a pretty good rack in here, but now I'll burn a good bit of it up. So my dad-in-law has got some cut over there that I need to go get. So I'm hoping though that here pretty quick we get into the fishing, and I'm telling y'all, we're gonna fish and we're gonna do some cooks on the creek bank. I'm gonna do it or bust, and I'm gonna do some camp outs. I kept saying last year, I'm gonna do it. I never did do it, but I think I've got things sort of under control right now to where I can start getting into doing what I want to do. The next thing is here pretty quick. We got a trip coming up. We're going to go hang out with Don Lanier one weekend or during the week sometime and do some, we're either going to go over there and go squirrel hunting. But now he said, I tell you what, he said, if you want to wait till April, he said, we'll take off and go to Kentucky and go trout fishing. I've never been trout fishing. So, y'all, I've got a lot of big plans, and I'm hoping we can make this all into videos and be successful at everything, but I don't have no problem filming a video that we don't catch nothing. You see her wanting to be petted. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. The rabbit was good. The fire was nice. We got a little sprinkle of rain. I have enjoyed myself thoroughly. I enjoy and look forward to every Friday night. I get to sit out here and talk to y'all and just carry on and have a good time, and that is what it's all about. So thank every one of you that has tuned in and watched and been faithful to support the channel. Good night, everybody. And remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one. And like old timers used to say when somebody leaves, say, y'all come see us.